All right, I am back. I just made an entire video and I didn't have my microphone on, so hopefully I should be well versed. With this one, I just want to go over percentages and flats and some really important parts that I left out. And then I also want to kind of explain why you're doing what you're doing, and it'll make more sense just to teach you what you're doing and why you're doing it, and got some things that you probably haven't seen before on that. I'm also going to do a little bit of a bonus real quickly. I want to show you what generals are good to ascend and how to pair them, and something that we're not really paying attention to that we probably should be looking at. I just heard some chatter. Some people wanted to ascend the new general, and I'm going to tell you why he is not good. This new guy, I don't remember his name. He's looks like he's a U.S. sailor, but I'm not sure. This guy right here, Lauden. So if you look at him, he looks great. 40% attack. That's about as good as anybody else I've ever seen. There's something good about this guy, or okay about this guy, but there's something really bad. He won't take an attack skill book. So that's the first thing I do. When I get a general, the first thing I do is I say he's an attack general for ground, is I try to put on a ground attack book. The top one right here. When you click it, this general already has a higher skill level. I'm sure you've seen that 1,000 times. If he's not allowed a skill book, he's junk to me. Because what I look for are two generals that pair together and both can take an attack book. I'll show you an example in a little bit. Before I do that, I want to show you what's slightly good about this guy. He increases mounted troop attack by 40% and defense and HP by 15%. So you're getting another 30% stats for this guy, which is good. And it says when a general is leading the army. That verbiage is non-qualified, meaning that his stats count wherever you go. If you're in a building at Bog or Bach, your stats are going to count. If you're reinforcing somebody, I'm not sure about rallies. If when you're leading to attack should count in a rally, but if you're reinforcing somebody, or if you're just on a tile setting a trap, if it says when a general is leading the army to attack or when marching, you're not going to get those stats. But this guy says when the general is leading the army, it's always going to be there. So he's good for that purpose. But let's just go quick, take a look at a pairing here. I don't have my mounted general in here, but this guy here, he does have 40% attack. And it's when he's leading an army to attack. So I won't get him on a tile on a building, but I can add an attack book, as you'll see right here. So what I also want is a guy, an assistant, that can take an attack book. George Custer can take an attack book, so let's add him. So not only do I get the first 40% from the main general and I don't know what it is, 25% attack skill book, I also get this 40% here. With an addition, I get the march size that's important to me, which is interesting with Custer. He can take a march size skill book on top of his main. So I'm getting 12% here and 10 here. I'm getting 22% march size. That's why I'm using him instead of Mordred. Also is a 40% attack general, but he can take a march skill book, but he doesn't have the 10% in here. In here. But he does have 30% defense, which is okay. I'd much rather have the march size, but just to let you see, all of these skill books and all of these skill books pair. Whereas if I used that first general I showed you, you couldn't use a skill book on any of them. These specialties will work if you ascend them. Just so you know, the leadership and attack and defense from cultivating, that will not show up. So like here, all these numbers, they will not account to your battle because he's an assistant. But I'm going to select him just so you can see that his specialties that you do spend runestones on will count. All right, enough on that. Let's get over to our refines. And the part I forgot to tell you about, I already kind of warned you guys in a post, but something I wanted to tell you about. Let's focus on mounted troop HP refines, just for an example. If you look, I can go up to 1838 for a flat refine, or I could get 25. I think you can get 30% on Civ gear. But where I want to go with this is I want to show you a mounted troop. You can do this for ground troops as well, but we're going to go into our mounted troops. We'll just look at the T13s. We don't need to look at the T1s. I proved to you last time how huge a flat refine is versus a percentage on a T1. We're just going to look at T13s, and what you're going to see is their HP is 38,783. We'll just call it 38,000. This is not the right way to do this. I'm going to show you the wrong way to do this. This is what people think. So it was over 38,000. Let's say I got a 25% refine. 25% of 38,000 is 9,000 HP, 9,500 HP. You'd be stupid not to take the 25%. That's not how it works. That number that we're looking at here, this 38,000, is with all my research, all the things that I've added. When I've added 10% here, 20% here, 10% there, that's all included in that number. What you need to get down to is the base stat, and we can't see the base stats anymore. If you opened up an alt and you went to an alt that had no research, maybe you could click on this icon and see what there is. But lucky for you, there's a website called evonyguidewiki.com that shows you what your base stats are before you molest them with all that research. So here we go. Attack, defense, and HP. It also shows siege, but we're going to ignore that for now. I'm going to go down to, here's the T15. Take a look at it, but I'm not going to let you see that. We're going to stay in the T13s. And if you look in the middle column, down by the HP, a T13 mounted troop only has 6,780 HP. Now we're going to go to a calculator. I think I said 60,080 or 6780. Now we're going to multiply that by a 25% refine, and you're looking at 1,700. Not even 1,700 HP. But they can debuff that. If you have subsidies with the right gear, somebody coming in with a flat or with a percentage, they get to cut that in half. They can debuff up to half. So now your 25% is only worth 850 HP for your mounted troops. Whereas my flat refines, how did we leave there? My flat refines, I'm getting up to 1,800. Where are we here? So you can get up to almost 2,000 HP for a T13. Now you get up to T14s, T15s, it's more lopsided towards percentages. For a couple reasons, you're probably not going to get all your stuff debuffed. So once you get over your enemy's debuffs, all that 25% counts. So you can go in and do your own math to see if a 20% refine is as good as a 2,000 HP flat. For whatever troop type you're looking at. From what I'm told, flat refines almost always pay off, with the exception of ground HP, because ground HP is huge. 25% would go a long way. So I think that was all I wanted to cover. Let's just look at a ground real quick. I don't know if it pays. I think I'm just going to cut it off there. If you guys want to look at more, you guys can jump in and look around. Let me know if there are some more questions on what I'm throwing at you. There were a lot of things that came at me last week that helps me out. I actually thought you guys knew most of this. I was surprised how many people were just mind blown by it. So there's a lot more depth to get into. If you guys are enjoying it, just let me know. Thanks.